Hi, everyone. I'm Mark Mulholland. Welcome to The Upbeat, a podcast about hope and perseverance from Kelly's Angels. Our guests today are near and dear to the Kelly's Angels cause. One of our guests has the voice of an angel. I'm proud to be joined by Keri Alonzo from Stillwater, New York, who's a very talented singer, mother, wife, and longtime supporter of the cause. Keri is also a cancer warrior here to share her story. She's also joined by her husband, Jeff. Jeff is a longtime first responder in upstate New York, an EMT, paramedic, and a longtime volunteer for Kelly's Angels. Keri, Jeff, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having us.
Tell me a little bit about your recent journey. We'll talk about your past in a little bit, but most recently you've received a diagnosis of colon cancer.
Yes. So I started having little symptoms happen. And this started happening actually in May or April of this year. And just started kind of feeling some abdomen pain. It would come and go. A lot of fogginess and fatigue. A little while after that, I started seeing some blood, and then things started kind of getting a little bit more worrisome. And as you know, I'm a runner, I'm a singer, I'm healthy, I eat well, everything in moderation. But something told me, you know what, you better go get checked. I'm 45, I'm young. So I called my doctor immediately, told him what was going on. He was like, okay, you need to go get a colonoscopy. I said, okay, let's do this. And then on December 12th, I went in, I had the colonoscopy done. And I do obviously remember waking up to the doctor looking at me like he saw a ghost. I was still kind of under anesthesia, but he started explaining, we found a very, very large tumor, and we can't even go past where we would ever go to see anything else, anything further. I couldn't go any further. Basically that day I was told it was cancerous. I mean, it didn't say it was cancer, but obviously I could put the two together. And immediately just said, okay, we're ordering a CAT scan stat, and we need to go get checked to make sure this hasn't spread. And it was just, it literally was like a tornado, just happened.
Yeah.
Very, very quick.
History of cancer in your family?
None, no colon cancer. My grandmother had breast cancer at the age of 87, was diagnosed. But other than that, I mean, we really didn't have any colon cancer in our family.
So it came out of nowhere?
Out of nowhere.
You remember the conversation. You said you were a little groggy.
Yeah.
What happens next?
So after that, Jeff and I got in the car, and it was complete silence. And it finally hit me, and I just started crying. And the first thing I think of course, is Andrew, my son.
Your son, 13 years old.
Yep, just turned 13. A very old soul, but still a kid, you know. And so I immediately just said to him, I have to call my parents. They need to come up to the house right now. And so we did. They came up. I said, all right, guys, here's the deal. And I just said, here's what's happening. Here's the next steps. Let's do this. And I just didn't think anything else. It was just, okay, what's next?
Was Andrew there? Was he present for that conversation?
No, he was actually at school.
Yeah,
he was at school. And then my parents left. Him and I had a good cry again. And I just went in my room and just kind of sat in silence and just tried to process what had just happened in the past few hours.
And then what?
And then, so then after that, we ended up going for a CAT scan. We went and they did a CAT scan of my abdomen, my pelvis, and my chest.
The lungs.
Or my lungs.
Yeah.
Wanted to make sure it didn't spread. That was the longest, probably 48 to 72 hours, I want to say.
Before you got the results?
Before we got the results. They had said it had happened quickly. It was going to happen quickly, but it felt like
forever.
Weeks. Yeah. But we got the news back that it did not spread. So that's when we moved forward. And I kind of started thinking about doctors. I started making phone calls. I started just doing what I could to possibly just speed up the process, right? You're
going to take this head on.
Absolutely. There was no woe is me. Absolutely not for 1 second. I'm like, okay, what's next? What's next? What's next? Soon after that, I actually reached out to a very good friend of mine who I call my little angel. And, I reached out to Chad and I just said, listen, I just need help. I don't know what to do. If there's anything. Within 10 minutes, a text message was sent to me, and he was able to hook me up with a doctor at Sloan and said, here's who you're going to talk to. Here's who you're going to work with. From then on, it was Sloan all the way.
Yeah.
It was Sloan all the way.
Some of the best doctors in the world.
Absolutely.
And that's important to have that peace of mind. And I'll ask Jeff that too, because Jeff has a medical background as a first responder as well. You've been in touch with every bit of Keri's treatment plan, I'm guessing. How important is it for you as Keri's husband to make sure that she has the very best care?
Oh, it's beyond important. Obviously getting the news was a tough one to swallow. But moving forward, we knew we had to be big advocates of getting her the care that she needed, treatment, surgery, et cetera. And by knowing how Sloan came on board so quickly and how attentive and thorough, it's been amazing, to be honest with you, how within a month of the colonoscopy / diagnosis that the surgery removed the bad. Yeah. And now we could look forward to moving forward to the next steps.
Yeah, because it could be a struggle, right? I mean, you're aware of that, Keri.
Absolutely.
But you have been open about this too. Some people, when they get a cancer diagnosis, and this is not judgmental, everyone is different.
Yeah.
They want to keep it inside.
Yes.
You've been open about what you're battling. Why is that important for you?
It is extremely important to me because I have noticed that there are so many young people getting diagnosed right now. And I don't think, when it first happened to me, I was like, where do I go? What do I do? And for me, it was talking about it as a part of healing. It's a part of a positive mindset. It's a part of getting those good and bad days out so that people understand that you're not alone. I think that was the number one thing I really wanted to emphasize to people is you are not alone. Let me tell you, it's not easy. It's not all sunshine and rainbows, but there are good things to this process. And I feel sharing that is helping somebody else reach out to me and say, my God, Keri, here's what happened to me. I am getting so many, it's overwhelming at times, but at the same time, I'm getting so many text messages and private messages of, thank you for sharing because this is helping me on my journey, my mother's, my father's, my sister's, my brother's, my friend's journey, and it's helping me to cope with what's happening right now.
That's inspiring. That's actually inspiring. Jeff, you must be proud.
I am. I told her a few times recently how proud I am of her. And I think the key to helping with Keri right now, I could do everything I'm doing, and I'm very fortunate that I'm able to, but those that have actually gone through it and reached out to her, that's been the most important help to Keri to make her feel like, okay, they really do know how I feel.
Yeah.
I don't know how she feels. Right. We don't know how she's feeling. We are there for support. And the one thing I also told Keri is that, you have an army. Some are real close, some are on the front lines, and some are far and near. Even to this day, we're still getting text messages from friends or friends of friends. Just so much support out there. But again, the most important are those that have gone through this terrible disease to reach out to Keri and have those conversations.
And there will be, in those conversations, those text messages, those movements of support will become even more important as you're likely going to be going through chemotherapy.
Yes.
You're finding out a treatment plan soon.
Yeah.
Have you thought about that? Because those could
Absolutely.
be could be some difficult days, right?
Yes, absolutely. And I will never say that I'm not scared. I will never say I'm not nervous because it's the unknown, right? And I know that I'm going to be pumped with quote unquote poison, right, to fix the problem I have. But in the hindsight, I am one of the lucky ones right now. I am one of the lucky ones. I do not take that for granted for 1 second. I know that this is going to be my next chapter. It almost sounds like a book, right? Yeah. This is my next chapter. This is my next journey. This is going to change my life. I mean, my life has already changed, but now we're like, okay, what's going to change now? What's going to be different? Am I going to have neuropathy issues? Is my hair going to fall out, right? Is my voice going to change?
Yes,
right?
That's what I was going to say. You're a wonderful singer, and chemo can have an impact on a voice, right?
Absolutely. But instead of me thinking of the negative and thinking of, oh my God, what'll happen? I'm like, okay, what's next? Let's go. Let's rock and roll. We got to do what we got to do. This is the fight right now. Let's move forward. Let's stay on track.
And we mentioned you're a wonderful singer. You have gigs lined up even as your chemo treatment plan is being routed, right?
Yeah.
Are you concerned about all that? Are you concerned about the performance side of things and being able
Right
to?
now, not necessarily. I mean, again, right now I can't jump around the stage. I'm still healing. I'm 3 weeks in from my surgery, feeling better and better every single day. You know, the recovery has been an interesting recovery. You know, and I can't just jump around and do what I normally do in big high heels, right? You know, but I can rely on my guys. I can rely on, you know, the singer that's with me that day. And if I look at him and say, I need a little break, I know that they're there for me. So I'm excited for it. You know, being on stage is that's my home. That's my safety. I have the most control. You know, so I'm excited to actually perform in the next couple of weeks.
And we're excited to have you on Mother's Day. We're going to talk a little bit about that after we come back from a break. But in the meantime, we're going to take a quick break to thank our underwriters. We'll be right back with Keri and Jeff Alonzo. Stay with us.
Support for Kelly's Angels comes from the students and faculty at South Glens Falls High School in upstate New York who hold a 24-hour marathon dance each year to benefit local charities. Kelly's Angels is proud to be among the beneficiaries of the South High Marathon Dance. We are grateful for their generosity and kindness. Six Flags Great Escape Lodge and Indoor Water Park, an Adirondack-themed lodge in Queensbury, New York, with a splash-filled water park that is always a tropical 82 degrees for a beach-like getaway any time of year. Learn more at sixflagsgreatescapelodge.com. Support also comes from Stewart Straps, an employee and family-owned convenience store chain serving eastern upstate New York and southwestern Vermont.
Welcome back to the Upbeat Podcast, a podcast about hope and perseverance from Kelly's Angels. We're joined by Keri Alonzo and her husband, Jeff. Keri is not only a cancer warrior currently battling colon cancer, and Jeff is a leader in the Saratoga Springs Fire Department, but both of you have been involved in Kelly's Angels for many years now, and for that we're especially grateful. Keri is the amazing voiced singer of the national anthem who gets everyone fired up at our Mother's Day run and walk called the Mother Lovin' 5K.
O'er the land of the free.
Every year she graces us with her beautiful voice, beautiful talent, and we love to have it, and we can't wait to have you back on this Mother's Day, May 12th, and you're nodding your head, so I'm hoping that means you will be there.
Absolutely. I wouldn't miss it. I would not miss it.
Why is it? Why do you feel that this particular run is important?
Well, now, I mean, not only has it affected, you know, you as a friend, right? But it's affected so many people that are very close to my heart. I mean, Diane was a beautiful friend and coworker.
Diane Zazzaro.
Yes.
Who lost her battle.
Yes.
Whose son won the entire run last year, which was amazing.
Amazing.
In her
beyond.
honor. And she was there to see it.
Yes, she was. Yes, she
phenomenal.
was. And I'm actually wearing a pineapple necklace today.
Oh, wonderful.
In her honor that one of her dear friends just gave me. You know, but also, you know, a friend, Majel Baker, has been, we've known each other since we were little. So seeing it affect the people that are so close to you, and now I'm one of them. You know, it takes on a whole different meaning. You know, we love to give, we love to support, and I'll never stop. We'll never stop giving and supporting to those, you know, fundraisers and beautiful, beautiful things like Kelly's Angels that we have become a part of. It's almost like our family.
Yeah.
You know, you guys are our family.
I love that you say that. I love that because we feel the same way.
It's the truth. And, you know, so now it takes on a full meaning because now I can understand through my journey what my friends have gone through, whether they've lost the battle, unfortunately, or whether they're still fighting the battle. So for me, it not only takes on that, but it also takes on awareness of the people around you, the people that are going through these situations, and how one small gesture, a hug, a smile, you know,
a text message,
a private message, those go so beyond where I could even put it into words. Those are what makes you stronger inside and out. So to be a part of this, and now I'm on kind of the other side in a strange, unfortunate way, I feel it is a blessing because now we're able to kind of give and take. And that's the beauty of it all.
I should point out that when I reach out to you each year, and ask you if you would be kind enough to sing the anthem for us, the answer is yes immediately. I don't even have to wait. It's like yes immediately. And I love that. I mean, as a small organization which is putting on this event, to be able to count on you has been terrific. And I can say the same for Jeff, because I usually reach out to Jeff to say, will you head up our volunteer EMT, paramedic, medical staff that we need. I say staff because we don't have staff. It is you.
Yeah.
And you always answer the same way too, Jeff. And I'm grateful for that. And I'd like to know why. Why do you do that? Why do you say yes right away?
Well, that's who we are. And as we've already, talked about today, even before Keri, I've been on the Kelly's Angels bandwagon from day one.
Yeah.
I mean, you and Kelly were inspirational. You've become a friend over the years. And so not only we're the givers, right? This is what I do for my career, but this is it's always had a special meaning to us. Yeah. You've done so many good things with this. And as Keri talked to you about, even friends of ours that we didn't think we'd be on that side. We love giving and helping any way we can. And it's kind of weird that we're now finding ourselves on the receiving end. And
that's hard, isn't it? Because
you've
been givers all your lives.
It's so hard.
Yeah, very, very hard.
It's really hard.
And believe me, we appreciate every little bit of support.
Yeah.
How are the kids doing? How are you? Because you have 2 children too,
Yep.
Jeff, right? And how is Andrew doing? How is
You
he
know what?
doing?
Andrew is doing very well. And I think we never told him it was cancer until after my surgery. We talked about it. We felt that it was appropriate to just, let's see how the surgery goes. I didn't want to scare him with the C word. And it's a scary thing for children, and so after we had the surgery, which he knew I was having a major surgery, we didn't hide that. We even had a picture of where they were going to cut and do all their, things. And he's like, wow, Mom, that's really cool. They're going to use like a computer. I'm like, yes, Andrew. But I set him up for that. And when we came home and it was a success, we sat down with him like, hey, we got to tell you something. Here's what happened. Mommy has cancer, but as you can see, I'm doing great. I may need chemo, but we'll find out in a few weeks. And he's like, okay.
Yeah, you don't want to overwhelm him.
No.
But you want to be honest. Right?
Yeah. And so I think I mentally set myself up, in that way. And I'm like, okay, what's next? Okay, let's go. Like, let's just focus on that. And I think we were able to set him up in a positive way.
For sure.
That when I told him, you know what, bud, I'm going to need chemo. And he's like, yeah, I know, Mom, you kind of told me that already. You know what I mean? So we've already talked about that with him. And I think he's on a good path, but we keep it very open, and I'm always, do you have questions today? Is there anything bothering you? I try to not lay in bed when he comes home from school, even though I'm tired by that point. But I'll, come downstairs, say, how was your day? And act completely normal.
And he's helpful. Jeff was telling me he's very helpful.
Oh, he's amazing. Amazing. Yeah, he's been so helpful in so many ways. We have a big dog. And I can't take him out. No. So when Jeff's not there, he does that too.
Based on your journey so far, what advice would you have for others who might be encountering something similar?
Take a deep breath. Don't go to the doom and gloom. Go to the positive. Take a walk. Take your space.
And you guys have been taking walks.
And we have been. Every day we walk. Sometimes I walk alone, sometimes I walk with a friend, or I walk with Jeff. But you give yourself that space. Give yourself that grace. Be honest with the people around you, because people are going to want to come to you quickly, and you need to just make sure, let's say, please give me my grace. We love you, but it's more of, kind of reconnecting with yourself and figuring out, okay, what's the next step? And being prepared for that next step, I think that's probably the best thing, but the most important thing is listen to your body. Please get checked. If there's something that is not right with your body, it's telling you something. Please go get checked. I know people are scared. I get it. I understand. Get checked.
The alternative is worse.
Exactly.
Right? People don't want to know necessarily, but not knowing can be terrible.
Yes.
Jeff, anything you'd like to add?
I don't think so. I think the hardest part for me and Andrew specifically, because we live at home with Keri, is watching her not be the energetic person that she was prior to surgery. Now we know it's coming back. You see her today,
Yeah.
and the spirit, the great attitude. It's been hard to watch the slow going, even though I see the improvement every day, little by little. That's been hard on Andrew as well. But when we fast forward to what we believe is going to be a happy ending, we've got to unfortunately watch her go through this, as hard as it may be at times, and just be there and support in any way we can.
Excellent. How about you, Keri? Anything you want to add?
I don't think so. I'm just ready to rock and roll. Let's get this going. And
And speaking of rock and roll, we've
You know?
mentioned several times that you're a singer. The name of the band is Jukebox Rebellion.
Yeah.
So people who are familiar with the band love the band. But for those listening not maybe in New York, might not be familiar with Jukebox
Yeah.
Rebellion, what are some of the songs you sing?
oh my gosh, we do everything from the Bee Gees to J-Lo. No. But a lot of rock and roll, country.
What's your favorite song to sing? And I asked that because we want to use a little bit of it in this podcast. So you must have some recordings that we can share, right?
Yeah, I would say probably my.
You do a wonderful anthem, by the way.
Yeah, national anthem. Yeah.
Goosebumps, but seriously, really. Right?
My gosh, I think probably one of my favorite songs is probably Pink.
Yeah.
Raise your glass. I mean, it says a lot in that song.
Yeah,
you know?
when you're done with treatment and you've beaten this, it'll be time to raise a glass.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Keri and Jeff Alonzo, thank you very much for sharing your story. And thank you for being so supportive of Kelly's Angels through the years. And thank you to everyone who's listening. I hope you'll subscribe to this podcast so you never miss an episode. And also, please leave us a 5-star review. Until next time, I'm Mark Mulholland. Stay on The Upbeat.
If you enjoy The Upbeat, please subscribe and leave us a review wherever you listen to podcasts. If you have topics you'd like us to cover on The Upbeat, please send your ideas to theupbeatpod@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. On behalf of the volunteer board of Kelly's Angels and the families we help who are facing life-threatening conditions, thank you for listening to The Upbeat.
Nice job, McKenna Rose.
Thanks, Dad. You too.